what to tell you about this week's episode that isn't everything that I love. It's giving Christmas. It's giving crafting. It's giving bargains because we are doing something to create a luxe look at a budget price. And all of it's doable before the big day. You can do this Christmas season. I'm so excited. Let's just get straight into it. Hi, I'm Sarah. This is Sarah Does Things, and today we are going to be making a luxury decoration for a fraction of the price, completed by my own fair hands. It's worth it, I promise. Do watch. I'm so chuffed. We all have our own Christmas vibe, right? Some people, super traditional. Some people are all about all the white, like Mrs. Hinch style Christmas. Some people buy upside down Christmas trees. To those people, I just want to ask, are you okay? Blink twice if you need help. I know that my kind of Christmas isn't everyone's kind of Christmas. It's colourful, it's kitsch, it's bordering on tacky. I'm a child of the 80s and 90s. Our house growing up was filled with foil decorations. It just screams Christmas to me. And I love the weird and the odd and the obscure and the unique. The Christmas decoration that I bought for the Christmas tree this year is a little tiny lobster. But all of the colourful mad decorations always seem to come with a really big price tag. And so, as I love a craft and your girl loves a bargain, I figured, how about I try giving something a go this year of actually like making a decoration for me to either put on the tree or put in the house somewhere. What I landed on was Christmas wreaths. Now, I don't have a wreath. I had a wreath a few years ago. Wreath or wreath? Wreath. Christopher Wreath. Maybe I'll call him Christopher now. Anyway, tangent of my brain. I don't know whether it's wreath or wreath. So we're going to go with wreath. I don't own one. I had one. I bought a fresh one from an amazing florist near my house. Stupidly threw away the wreath ring. That sounds naughty, but it's not. It's a genuine thing that you keep to build a wreath onto. So in this episode, I am going to cover making both my own wreath ring out of, I can't say it without it sounding rude in my head, or it just sounds like urethra. You know, I'm going to cover making one of those as well as making a wreath. What do you do when you need inspiration for a craft? That's right. You go on Instagram. I was looking around for Christmas wreaths and actually landed on one from a woman that I already follow. She owns a company called Fat Pom Poms, and I'll put all the links in the description. Her stuff is amazing. She makes earrings and accessories throughout the year, and then at Christmas she goes to town on baubles, and it's all pom-poms, all glittery, colourful, fun, and she also makes Christmas wreaths. I saw this picture and heart eyes just fell in love. This is absolutely me. It's so perfect. The bright colours, the tinsel in it, that it's kind of different and handmade, and you couldn't get the same one if you ordered two. Do you know what I mean? Every single one is going to be different. I loved it that much that I was all prepared to just go to the website and buy one, quite honestly. I know that this was originally a quest for crafting ideas, but I fell hard for this wreath. I wanted it. And one day I will possess it. However, when I looked at the cost, she sells it in two forms. One is a wreath making kit and one is a fully formed wreath. The making kits start from 50 something pounds, but the fully formed, assembled, sent to you wreath is £155. And I know that's a lot of money, but I totally get why it is that much money. This woman, it looks like from Instagram, is a one-woman band. She writes the theme tune, she sings the theme tune, she does it all. She makes the pom-poms, she makes the wreaths, she orders the stock, she runs the business. It sounds like currently she's been pulling all-nighters to get Christmas orders together. So I get that there is her time that goes into it, the materials, her overheads, packaging. She's got to make a margin on it, all that kind of stuff. Totally understand. But also, this year, I do not have £155 to spend on a wreath. I did feel, though, that being a child of the 80s and 90s, making a pom-pom is just something that I think I knew how to do, like coming out of the womb. I don't really think I learned how to do it. It was just in me. I figured I would give this a shot myself and see whether I could use her wreath as inspiration to create my own creation of a pom-pom wreath ring. just in case you want to do the same, because there is still time before the big day, I'm going to tell you exactly what I used to create everything. In order to make the wreath ring, I used cardboard that I had left over of just stuff that had been sent to the house, packing materials, exactly the same, sellotape, and hot glue. 4 things to make the wreath ring. Now, if you wanted to simplify this even further, potentially spend a little bit more money, you could just buy a wreath ring. I was going to say from Wilko. God rest its soul. That place was an absolute godsend for Christmas. I don't know what I'm going to do, but somewhere online, I'm sure the conglomerate that none of us really like to buy from, but that everybody buys from, will probably have something that would suit your needs. Then to make the pom-poms, I went up my local high street to a little mom and pop yarn store, you know, one of those ones that's kind of just hidden away. It sells like buttons. And so I picked kind of jewel tones. I didn't go completely down the neon route, just knowing my own color scheme for Christmas. Those kind of jewel tones mixed with the neons, definitely more it. Also, I had a ball of kind of off-white. I'm calling it yarn because I don't know whether it's wool. It's definitely not like real wool. Like my room is basically like a hobby graveyard. You search in kind of any drawer or cupboard or underneath something, you're gonna find the remnants of a hobby that I've picked up for like one time and then put down again. That was crochet. I have a crochet hook up in that absolute chaos, and I bought this ball of yarn in order to teach myself how to crochet. Haven't done that yet. The wool is being repurposed into my pom-pom wreath. I also bought some tinsel. I just went to Lidl. I also really overbought on tinsel because I did not know how I was going to approach this. Buy like 1 long piece of tinsel, or 2 if you want to mix up the colours. But I bought like 5 different things of tinsel because I was like, I want to cover it in everything. I don't think you need tons. Oh, and you'll need a pencil or a pen. Just something to keep handy. Really, to make the pom-poms, it was wool and tinsel, and that's it. But that was everything I used to create my pom-pom wreath. So, first up, the wreath ring. Now, I recorded this entire process. It's really long, it's really boring, so we're going to do the York Notes version of this. Basically, get a large sheet of cardboard, draw around something that is almost as big as what you want the wreath to be. Not as big as what you want the wreath to be, because when you think about it, you're going to build it up and you're going to attach things to all of the edges. So it's going to expand in size. So almost as big as what you want it to be in a circular shape. I used a big dinner plate and I cut around it. Full disclosure, I actually did this 3 times throughout this cardboard. My cardboard was quite thin and I basically wanted to make a reinforced ring. Then I took a slightly smaller dinner plate and put that in the middle of the big dinner plate. I cut them out as complete rings. Do not cut through the ring to cut into the middle. I glued them together. And then I used my hot glue gun and my packing material to just build up the ring. You want something that's kind of padded, that's got some chunk to it, so that you're not having to make all of that body of the wreath out of pom-poms, because you'll waste so much wool and you'll be there for days. I just kept building up layers of packaging material, hot gluing it down until you've got kind of the same thickness of packing material glued all the way around. And then, because I am anal and like everything to be neat and smooth and lovely, I took some of my kind of cellophane type packing material, stretched it around it and taped it round so that I had kind of one smooth surface to be able to be used as the base of my wreath. And then I made some pom-poms. Now, there are 2 main ways that I have made pom-poms for this wreath in particular. The first being with old school pom-pom makers, which I will explain how to make in just a second. And the second, literally just by using my hands. And I thought I would show you both techniques and a couple of different ways that you can get a couple of different styles of pom-poms out the end of it. Now, look, there are people far more professional than I am when it comes to crafting that do explain this probably in far better ways on YouTube. This is just how I have always done it. Pom-pom makers, they are 2 bits of card in a circular ring shape that you wrap yarn around and then tie through the middle to be able to make a pom-pom. I have made these by drawing around what I think was a candle to get this kind of size. This in relation to my palm look fairly small, probably about 5 centimeters. What you're aiming for is this ring. So with around a centimeter's worth of space for you to wrap the yarn around. I drew round my candle to begin with. I then got a 2p piece. I put that in the middle, drew around that, and you need a space for the yarn to be able to get through. It's not quite a quarter, as you will see. It's as small as I could make it effectively to give me enough space to still wrap the yarn around. I cut all of this out of the cardboard, and then I used this as a template to trace onto my cardboard to make my second. Now you need two, because you need to be able to have a space in here to wrap a piece of yarn around that secures the whole pom-pom, and I'll show you that in a minute. There are then two different variations of kind of pattern of pom-pom that I have used. For the larger pom-poms, which actually I do have a larger pom-pom maker for, that I drew out of a larger mug. So I have two different sizes for this wreath of these. For those and the kind of multicolour look that they have, in order to get that real kind of pick and mix bag look that is on the main pom-poms, I used all 4 or sometimes 5 colours of yarn all at the same time, gathered them up much like this, and then started wrapping them around the pom-pom maker. Your threads, your kind of ends of your threads always want to point towards the outside of the pom-pom, because this is what's going to get cut anyway to kind of make the look of the pom-pom. So I start with them on the outside. I wrap around once outside of it to kind of secure the threads onto the pom-pom maker, and then I just start wrapping around much like this. You don't want to wrap tightly. If you wrap tightly, the threads are going to be really difficult to cut through when you're done. And the joy of making pom-poms is that this is now just a mindless activity of wrapping to cover up all the cardboard until you get to the other side, around here. What I tend to do is turn it over because the threads get a little wrapped around each other, and then wrap again to go all the way back again. The good thing about using 4 different colours all at the same time is that you'll actually make your pom-poms quite quickly, which is great. Now, you're just looking for this to be nice and full, and this gap to kind of close, I guess, is the easiest way for me to describe it. You want to be wrapping as much yarn around these to be able to just stuff it out. Make it really big and full. For the ones that had tinsel in them, when I got to kind of 2/3 full, I just wrapped one piece of tinsel around, cut it off, and then kept wrapping the yarn over it. Basically closed that gap now. So this is really nice and full. So what I'm going to do is cut the threads again to the outside of the pom-pom. I'm going to cut them off, and I'm going to preemptively cut a longer piece of yarn for me to use in the middle of my pom-pom. Then we take our 2 pieces of card, and with our scissors we very carefully start to cut through the threads of the pom-pom, and you use the card to give you the leverage to get in between all of the threads and cut them in the middle. Now you want to just be making sure that you're hanging on to your threads as well, so they don't all disappear, because as you turn it they might fall out. So I just tend to put my thumb in the middle of my thumb in the middle of the hole. You know what I mean. So now we have all of our loose threads, and we can get our kind of anchoring thread in between our 2 pieces of card. Get away. That's exactly what you want to do. Feed your thread in between the 2 pieces of card, and I like to knot it where they all joined together. So sorry if my hands have gone off screen at any point. I can't see whether I'm in the center anymore or not. So we just do a knot, and you'll actually see the pom-pom kind of start to come together as soon as you do this knot. Pull it tight, not that tight that you break the thread. And I would suggest another knot to be able to keep that all together. And then you can remove your pom-pom maker, and you have an attaching thread to attach this to your wreath, and you have your pom-pom. That's so cute. I'm obsessed already. Now, they do, in order to make them circular, need a little bit of a trim. I haven't currently done that with all of my pom-poms that I'm going to be using to put the wreath together with. And there we go. A mixed thread pom-pom ready to go onto our wreath. So the other version of pom-poms that I have made with the pom-pom maker is kind of like, it's really difficult to describe it. It's kind of like a splotches of colour. You get more blocks of colour, but it's not rigidly like it's a 2-colour pom-pom. And the way that I have done that is basically start with 1 colour of thread rather than all 4 colours or 5 colours at the same time. Start to wrap them around the pom-pom maker in one place. And then basically just build up little sections of colour and make these as full as you want them to kind of show as different layers throughout the pom-pom. And then start to move the thread around. Maybe we'll have another bit of orange over here, and we'll kind of just make this pom-pom will have different areas of different colour. And then you do exactly the same with the different kinds of thread, the different colours of thread. But maybe the blue isn't so much on the orange. Maybe there's a section of blue next to the orange. I'm not going to make another full one of these, but effectively all I do is do that, and the same way that I showed in the previous pom-pom, keep wrapping until the circle in the center is pretty much closed. Cut around the outside, secure it, and you will come out with a pom-pom that looks a little like this. Here's one I made earlier. As you can see, different kind of splotches of color. The threads aren't all mixed in with each other, but they are, but just in a slightly different way. So the final way that I have made pom-poms, these are almost for the super smallest pom-poms that I've got on the wreath, is simply using my fingies. This is literally the kind of way of making a pom-pom where like the kids can help, you know, there's no real thought needed to be able to do this. So I'm taking one piece of yarn, wool, that's going to be like my anchor piece. I'm taking that and I'm threading it between my index finger and my middle finger so that I have this piece of thread that is in between those 2 fingers. And then I'm kind of tucking that out of the way. I don't need that right now. This is almost like our pom-pom maker. This is our circle, our 2 fingers. And so I'm going to keep our threads on the outside because that's where we're going to end up cutting. I'm going to wrap our thread around our fingers. And we're going to keep going. I want to make this into kind of a 2-tone pom-pom. So I'm going to make sure I've got quite a lot of yarn on the inside towards my hand, like part of my fingers. And I'm going to keep wrapping and keep wrapping. This is a really quick way to make a small pom-pom. And once I've got like a decent wedge of yarn on there, of wool, I'm going to cut the thread on that one again so it stays towards the outside of my fingers. And then I'm going to get my other colour of thread. I'm obsessed with this bright pink. It's making everything, the pink and the blue together. Oh, I love it so much. I'm going to start wrapping from the inside of this section, but towards the outside of my fingers. And I'm basically going to build up the thread over on this side so that we get a ton of yarn of this different colour over here. So once we've got a fair amount of yarn on of that colour, I'm going to cut my thread, and then we're going to use our kind of anchoring thread, and I tend to pull the back that's come out the back of my fingers, the back of the thread around in between my fingers again, and I'm basically going to tie a knot in the front of this big section of yarn that I've just made. So I want my ties to kind of be a similar length. And then if I pull this together, I can kind of ease this wool off of my fingers very carefully, and I tie a knot, and you'll start to see how the pom-pom is then going to come together. I tie a knot nice and tightly in the middle of these. I place my finger on here so that I can get the yarn together to tie another knot. Kind of got to get get all of your fingers involved, as many as that are helpful. And so I have these loops of thread with an anchoring thread in the middle to secure them. And I'm basically going to go this. Imagine we've just had our pom-pom maker in here. That's all the pom-pom maker has done, is made all these loops of thread. But on the pom-pom maker, it's easier to identify them because they've got the cardboard in the middle. But all you're going to do is go through around the outside of this pom-pom and cut through the loops of thread. Anyway, see a loop, cut it, and you can kind of fluff it out. Now these ones, for the purpose of the wreath, they are a bit flatter. It's absolutely fine. We don't really need them to be round, and it's okay if they are flatter because they're going to sit, they're kind of going to fill in space in these smaller sizes. That is how I make the smallest of the pom-poms. You can do them two-tone, you could do three. I've done individual colours, but there we go. They are all of the different ways I have made pom-poms for the wreath. Now it's time for us to finally assemble. We have all of our component pieces. So what I'm going to start with, because I feel like I've lost some of that sparkle as I've put these in, is a ring of tinsel around the middle and a ring of tinsel around the outside. Just going to use my glue gun, put some glue around here, and then whilst it's still, oh please stay there, still warm, attach my tinsel to it. Okay, I'm going to do the same now, but on the outside with this glittery iridescent tinsel, which I have more of. That's the last that we need of that tinsel. So now, oh no, just hot glue gunned my hot glue gun to the bin bag. If you have a protective surface, then that would be far better. You're going to start tying these pom-poms on to our wreath. I'm starting with the bigger ones, and I might actually glue gun them in place. I think that would be a smart idea. And then tie them on once they are on there how I want. I'm going to tie this nice and securely, and then we can trim off. Oh my God, I need some new kitchen shears. Trim off that excess. So I'm going to do that all the way around with my big pom-poms now. Okay, last big guy going on. Okay, we have the basis of our pom-pom. Now you can go through and trim off some of those threads. I didn't want to do it until I had this on its base so that I could see what they were all looking like together. Some of them do look a little rogue, but in general, I really like how this is looking. What I am now going to do is attach on more pom-poms because I think this looks better the fuller it is. So I'm going to attach some around this middle and some to fill in some of these spaces on the outside. And I'm effectively going to do it in exactly the same way. However, I might not glue gun. I might just tie these smaller ones and then move that so that it's kind of more in the middle. Yes, that is starting to look really full, really festive and fun. And so I'm effectively just going to go around the rest of the wreath and do that until we've used all of the other pom-poms. And I will show you the end result. Guys, this is the end result. My God, I am beyond chuffed with this. It looks so good. Like, even I am impressed with my crafting skills on this one. The thing that really changed it is once I had got it all assembled, the only thing I didn't show you is I hung it up on the wreath ring, stretched a bag out underneath it, and gave it a really good haircut. I don't know how else to describe it, but just made the pom-poms look more circular, more like neater, just like more contained to their own colours. And kind of once you started cutting away at some of the front ones, you could see the back colours come in a bit more. You could see that tinsel come in a bit more. Oh, I'm just so pleased with it. It's one of those things where I keep walking past it and then just stopping and having a little look. When it comes to the budget, the cardboard and the packaging materials were free. The glue I already had. The sellotape I had bought for a different project. One of the balls of yarn I already had. So really, it was the tinsel and the wool. I spent about £13 on 7 balls of wool, one of which I used for a bit and then ended up sidelining because I bought a nice yellow and I thought it was going to be cute, and then it turned out it wasn't cute. And I bought some tinsel. And as I say, I overbought, but I only bought the tinsel from Lidl. And I think totting up the other day, I spent about £8. So in theory, this cost me just over £20 to make something that I know is going to last me. And I love it. It's something completely unique to me and this house. You're not going to see it anywhere else, that particular one. And it goes so well with my colour scheme. The great thing about making it yourself is that you can pick whatever colours you like. Plus, it was a really easy task to do in front of the telly, to just sit and make pom-poms. There's something really satisfying about doing a craft where you quite easily get to a point where you've made a thing and then you're like, oh, tick, made a pom-pom, on to the next. So I would say if you like the look of this and you are willing to spend £20 and a bit of time, as much as I made this over probably 3 weeks, just squeezing in time here or there. If you could dedicate a weekend to this, that's making the wreath ring as well. If you had a wreath ring already, you're just making pom-poms, I think you could easily do that in a day. It's a long day and you'll be sick of making pom-poms at the end of it, but you'll have that amazing wreath. So how is that not worth it? Oh my God, I'm just so in love with it. And I can't wait to get the rest of my Christmas decorations up to just like bring it to life. And it's really going to be like the statement entrance to anyone coming into our living room and seeing all of our decorations this Christmas. I'm so excited to have friends around and show it off. I just want to give a massive shout out to Fat Pom Poms for the inspiration for this. At some point, when I have the budget, I will be going and buying one of the ones that she makes because they're just so beautiful. She obviously puts a lot of love and time and care into them. I desperately wanted the baubles this year as well, but I had already spent money on baubles. If you like her stuff, go show a little love in the new year. Let the woman have a break over Christmas, but then go and order yourself some cool hair slides and amazing tinsel earrings for next year. But until I can afford one of Fat Pom Pom's wreaths and baubles, I'm just going to keep this one because, as you can tell, I'm obsessed. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it to the end of this video, I really hope you have a go and make it. If you do, please tag me. All my Instagram details are in the box below. It's the catchiest handle in the world, at Sarah_does_things_. But if you post a picture, please tag me in it. I would love to see if you make one of these. And if you like this video and you think someone would love to do this craft, please share it with them. I would love to be able to pass on the knowledge of how I made this so that people can make their own Pom Pom Christmas wreaths for either this year or next year. Maybe it's a craft as well you could be doing in that time between Christmas and New Year when nobody really knows what day it is and you've watched 600 films already and you've eaten all the chocolate. Do something else with your hands. Make some pom-poms. Make a wreath. Store it away for next year. That's it. I'm going to love and leave you. If you like this video, please like this video. Giving it a little thumbs up really helps YouTube serve this content to other people. And I would love for more people to see it. So if you liked it, like it. I'd love it if you subscribe too. Hit the notifications bell. I don't know whether there'll be more crafting, but there'll definitely be more stuff towards Christmas. Right now, I've got to go and run some Christmassy errands. So I hope you're all having a wonderful weekend, whenever you watch this. A wonderful life. Oh my God, what a little Christmas closing the circle like a wreath. I have to stop. I love you all. Take care. And I'll see you again next week. And bye.